Hi, Robert here from Antones. In this video we're going to cover straight and curved seams, show you how to do it, some of the things I've seen that seem to take a long time to do, rather than taking a day to glue a catsuit together. It's taken people 4 days, 6 days to glue a catsuit together. So I'm going to try and show you some of the tricks I've learned over the years and used, how to make good seams, what some people do to make seams that don't look so good. So we'll go over it. Stay tuned. Let's take a look at some seams here. Good looking seams usually don't have any puckers in them, any bulges, any ripply wavy. The seam's the same width all the way through. Zoom in here and see if I can show you, see if it'll show up. See, this one's got a little pucker in it right here. That's what you want to try and avoid. You want your seams to look like this. Nice, even, smooth seams. That makes for a nice looking garment. If there's puckers in it and all bunched up, it's not very nice looking. You need to practice. You need to get yourself some latex. I know it gets expensive, but you don't jump in and build a catsuit right off the bat. You need to start with something small. These are 6 inches by 3 inches. If you make coupons 6 by 3, 6 by 4, that's about what you need and get you going. I usually like them a little bit bigger, and get the thickness of material that you're going to be working with and practice. It's not something you just pick up and do right off the bat. Some of the tools we'll need some latex. We'll need our cutting board, a ruler, a rotary cutter, a couple brushes like I talked about in the previous video of how to cut them off, get them the right length. We need our glue. We talked about this in the last video. The glue we use, the solvents we need. So we need those. Seam roller. Bring my little tray in here, which, like I said last time, is really nice. Some clean paper towels. Like I said, these are automotive grade. They're not kitchen towels. These are a lot sturdier, lint-free. I like my glue jar with a lid. We'll need some powder. Need some Need a cup for the powder, a brush for the powder. And on your glue jar, to make a lid for it, on your glue containers, if you're using a shot glass or something, you get a washer, put some cellophane tape over it. Or if you get one like this, go to your local hardware store and pick up a washer big enough to cover it. Or you can go to cheap way and just take a piece of cardboard, put some packaging tape on both sides of it so the cardboard doesn't stick. And you can use something like that. It keeps the solvents from evaporating out of your glue, and otherwise your glue is going to keep getting heavier and heavier, and you're going to have to thin it down again. So that's a couple good tips there. Like I said, brushes can be really cheap brushes, you know, just really cheap brushes. That's all you need. Let's start by filling our heptane bottle. I got a gallon here. I'll only put a small amount in here because I don't need it all. And when you're pouring from a can like this, see if I can get it. If you pour from this side and leave the spout at the top, it'll pour and it won't do that glug 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 and spill it all over. So that's a handy little trick. We got our heptane ready. When you're done for the evening, you dump your heptane back and you dump your glue back into the glue container. Like I said, I think this is all pre-thinned. I think I'm okay with it. Put some of your glue in your container. This is why it's got a lid on it. One other thing you'll need is some paper. This is old tractor computer paper, which you can probably find somewhere. Pick it up, or somebody's throwing it away that's had an old computer and not using it anymore. You can use your butcher paper, your pattern paper. I'll show you how we use this. Take 2 coupons here. Now you're going to have to decide what's the front and what's the back on these. The latex I use, the back side is textured. It's not a smooth back, so it's easy to find the front and the back. When you're gluing your seams together, you're doing one front side and one back side on the seam. Take your heptane, get some on your towel and clean it. I know the first thing you're going to say, it curls. That does not hurt anything. Like I said in the previous video, some people use Coleman lantern fuel. Some use paint thinner. That's not really compatible with the glues and the solvents we're using. I mean, you just leave this set a bit. And this is real time on this. Remember, using these solvents and the glue, have a well ventilated area, or if you're in a large place, a fan going. See, this is all relaxed down. I don't care how much it curls up, it's going to relax back down to where it was. Now, here's where the paper comes in. Let me soften my brush up here a little bit. Like I said, I don't clean the brushes, and the solvents will make them soft again. I got this area clean, this area clean. You can see how much powder's on there from the factory. People use credit cards to put their glue on. But I think they put so much glue on with the credit cards that it curls a lot more. You could do this on your table, but the glue that got on here is going to be sticking on your table, and your latex will stick to it, or it'll start rubbing off and getting funny looking things. Just leave this set. I'm going to leave this set for about 3 to 5 minutes. I've left it set as long as an hour, 2 hours, and come back and glued it together. It acts like a contact cement. This set about 4 minutes it only sat here. So you got glue on that one, glue on this side on this one. There's a half dozen different ways of doing this as far as putting it together. Straight seams are fairly straightforward. Put it together and you just work it down. Once you get it glued down, take your seam roller and roll it lightly, and then do a heavy roll on it. So you got that. Then on all your ends, you take your ends and trim them back to where you get both of them the same length. I don't know if you can see it here, the small sliver I took off of the light color. This will seal and lock the ends. Doesn't need to be much. And this corrects if you got, if your latex, you stretch some of it a little more than the others. Okay, that's got that. Now, take your solvent again, get you some solvent on your rag, and clean your glue off. This will push that glue into that seam. And that'll keep it from from coming undone. I usually do the front side only, unless it's a translucent or a color that's going to show through, then I'll do the back side also. So you leave that evaporate. Let's leave that set a little bit and I'll be right back. It's been about 3 minutes here. That's why if you can work on two things, if you're gluing one thing together and you got another one prepped ready to glue, and you can keep rotating and keep all of it going at once, so you don't have to wait for things to dry. That's why a nice big table like this is great. Okay, now take a little powder. Just brush a little powder on there. That keeps it from sticking. And I'll powder the back side where the seam is, so that won't stick to itself or stick to anything else. People say you gotta wait a week or a couple days until you can wear your suit. Let me zoom back out. That's the seam we just glued. You can't tell me you gotta wait a week to wear a suit. I might wait a couple hours, but a week, no. I would trust gluing a suit together and wearing it that same night, which I have already. Made up a suit and same night went ahead and put it on and wore it. Okay. See, that makes a nice smooth seam. When you get done, you end up washing it. If you want it powdered, you powder it. If you want shine on it, you shine it. The thing is, you can take the same size pieces like this, and if you're not careful, here, let's clean these up. We'll glue two more together. I'll show you what not to do. And what I'm going to show you is very hard to avoid on curves. Get my paper again for gluing. You gotta get in the habit of doing these things. And when I glue, I only get not much more than the bristles in there. I even wipe it off a little. And I usually start here and go out to the end. Then I'll come back and go down the line. You can feel when you run out of glue, the brush will stick. Let me show you what happens if you start at an end. will work. You see me go back and get the glob of glue that's there. But when you start at the end, it seems to always, the drip of, or the heavy glue at the end will take longer to dry. So that's why I always start away from the end, go back, and then go down your line. It's almost like welding. They do the same thing. They tack the corners and back weld a lot of times. It's basically what you're doing here. Let's leave this dry up some, and I'll come back and I'll show you what happens if you pull on your latex a little bit. Okay, I'm back. It's all dried down. Show you what happens if some people end up pulling. As you've seen before, these were both the same length. It's hard to do it wrong. You get puckers, all kinds of things. It's too long. The overlap there. That's the kind of stuff you can get. So, you want to try not to stretch it at all. You can see how bad and nasty that looks. So let's try and glue it together a little different way. We'll cut this off. Remember, put your blade back in so you don't cut yourself. Okay, let's clean this again. I think I cleaned the wrong side here. Get it ready for glue. You want to make sure your glue comes out to the edge. Whoops. Okay, we'll get some glue on these. Remember, start here and go backwards. Come up to the edge. Make sure your glue's up to the edge. If your brush starts sticking like that, you're running out of glue on your brush. You need to refill it. Back that way. The width of the brush is a guideline on your seam. If you use a wider brush, you're going to get a wider seam. Like I said before, the wider the seam, the harder it is to make a curve. Now we'll try some other gluing here. Let that dry up a little bit. I've seen people do this. They'll start it and they'll push it down. Depends on how you push it down too. Okay, they get it like that. Then they'll take and roll it really hard. Once in a while they'll come up all wrinkly and out of shape. Wash your glue off here. Let me zoom in on this. Use plenty of heptane or your solvent to wash this glue off. Because if you run it dry, you tendency to scratch the surface. See, you leave it dry. I don't know if you can see the wrinkles and the waves in that. Let me powder it real quick. All you need is a little bit of powder. You don't need a lot. So don't get carried away with the powder. Here again, you would take you could even use a straight edge if you'd like. And cut it off. As you can see, there's only a little bitty sliver of the gold on there. But that seals that end. Most of the time you can freehand it because you'll never ever see the discrepancy in the seam. Because if this is around the sleeve or so forth, if it's around the sleeve, you'll never see it. So, okay. Let's try some curved seams here. This is a nice gentle curve. putting your latex together, you got to decide if you want this one over or this one over. Doesn't make any difference which way it is. A lot of times it's personal preference. You can make your coupons bigger if you'd like. That way you got a little more to work with. Some of these have a lot of powder on, like this. This one here has a lot of powder on it. It's purple. So you need to clean it off good. Even if it means going over it a second time. Let's leave that evaporate a little bit and I'll be right back. Okay, there's our curved panel. Let's see if we get some glue on it and put it together. Anytime you leave a glob of glue, it seems to take forever to dry and it wrinkles that much more in that spot. Get off your paper, leave it dry. We'll go from there. And when you're gluing, when you're putting your latex together, I don't know if you can see it. Let me get a pen here. The glue goes to there on the edge. It's about the width of it all the way down. When you put your latex on there, if you lap it over more than what your glue is, this edge is going to come apart. So you're going to have to watch that. You always want to keep it, that's the width of your glue seam. So that's the way it should be. Okay, here we go. Now these are not going to come out equal because of the curve. This is why a lot of good lighting is helpful here. I'm barely pushing down to get it around that curve. Just enough to guide it. Once you get it pushed down, and rub your finger over it a little harder, lightly roll it, and then give it a hard roll. Wash your glue off. Like I said, that washing that glue into your seam will help seal that up. Take a little powder on the back side. Powder the front side. Trim your edges. And you're ready to go. There's your curve seam. When you're practicing, you need to practice cutting both ways, because everyone's going to be a little different. Like I said, don't be afraid to make scraps. It's the only way you're going to learn how to do it and do it properly to where the seams look good. See, there's no wrinkles, bubbles, kinks, knots in that seam. That's the way you like them to look. If you're buying a garment, that's what you want to look for. Let's do another one here. See, that one was the inside. We'll try and do an outside corner here. Then when you think you're good, then you take and cut two of them the same like this and glue those together. And there's a dozen different ways of getting this all squared away and learning how to do it. Cut it there. Let me cut it up here. If your towel gets dirty like this and kind of nasty, it doesn't want to clean anymore, take another corner, turn it over, use the other side. These towels aren't that expensive. They're not as cheap as kitchen towels, but kitchen towels, I've found, they just don't make it. Leave these dry off a little. Get set up for your gluing. You can tell when you're running out of glue on the brush and you need more. See, I think people using the credit cards get too much glue on it. And that's why they wrinkle and curl more than they should. Now, if you have any questions on this, feel free to contact me, leave a comment below, and we'll see about answering them or make another video. Curves can be really hard to do without stretching them, getting them knotty, kinky. The hard ones to do are chins and noses on hoods a lot of times. Because they're such a sharp corner. And when you're going around a corner, you'll end up stretching it some. There's no way of getting around without it. Get it down, push it down with your fingers, do a light roll, and give it hell. Clean it off. Powder the back side. Once your solvent's evaporated, powder the front side. Trim it off right away. There you go, another seam. All the seams I put on there, let's see how strong it is. That's the way they're supposed to be. I hope Hope that helps you. Like I said, just take your time. Practice makes perfect. So you can jump on that bicycle and learn how to ride it right away. You can subscribe, hit the like button, hit the little bell so you get notice of my next videos coming out. Next video, I think I'm going to try and make myself make a pair of shorts. So we'll get into laying it out, laying the pattern out on the material, cutting the material, and gluing it together. So that'll show you how a garment is made. Last thing here. Done working. Take your solvents. Dump it back into the can. If you leave it in a plastic squeeze bottle, it's going to evaporate. Take your glue. Put it back in the glue can. This had some glue in the bottom from before, which is very thick and stiff, but it will not hurt to put it in there. It'll dissolve in the solvents in there again. And the cup here, just leave it dry out. Just rub your finger in there and just leave it dry a day or so, and all that glue will come out of there, so you have a nice clean cup again. And clean up the rest of your stuff. I mean, that's what's nice about this little tray. Everything's on there. You can take and move it. I keep mine under my bench. I keep it under the bench. It's out of the way. So your bench is ready for the next thing you want to do. Your paper here with the glue on it. If it gets too much glue on it, things are going to stick. Throw it away and get another piece of paper. Thank you for watching. I'm not done yet. I just took this and washed it. Dry it off. We're going to put some shine on it so you guys can see what it looks like, all cleaned up and shiny. At this point you got to watch, because it will stick together without any powder or shine on it. It'll want to stick together. use a shine like this, or if you like just your powder. It depends on what you'd like to have. If you go to glue on this again, you got to really be careful and wash it good. Clean it with your solvents really good. See if I can zoom in on this. Seams are nice. I hope that helps somebody out there, and the more you wash it, the more you shine it, the shinier it'll get also. And when you're putting shine on, it's not how much you rub on it to polish it. That does not make it help it at all. If you're using a coarse cloth, it will scratch the latex, and you'll have micro scratches in it then, and it won't shine up very well either. So thank you for watching. Have a good latex day and enjoy your latex.